In this video, we're going to cover some of the best football boot deals currently on the market. Because there are a lot of new releases that you can get for a fair price, but more importantly, there are a lot of models from last year that are heavily discounted right now. So I've picked out some of my favorites to go over, and if you're interested in getting a new pair of boots, I'll leave links below in the description where you can find them on sale with discount codes. Alright, and to kick things off, we have the brand new New Balance Furon V7 Pro Plus variation. So we're going to start off with some slightly more expensive boots, and then as we go through this list, they're going to get a little bit more affordable. But I wanted to quickly give out a shout to the new Furon Pro because New Balance consistently has the most affordable top-end boots, especially when you look at brand new releases like the Phantom GX2 and the new Predator Elite from Adidas. They're both retailing for $260 or more, depending on the variation that you end up getting. And when you consider the fact that the Furon and the Tekalo that we're going to discuss in a moment are basically the same quality, if not better than some of those boots, I think these deals are just some that you have to acknowledge. So you can pick up the brand new Furon V7 Plus edition for just $215. And in my opinion, these new colorways that come out with these Plus models are actually a lot better than the colorways that came out on the original launch of the Furon V7. I really like this white variation that they've got here. I think that they also have a really nice blue variation and an all black variation that came out as well. I think of all the models so far though, this white with the black New Balance accent is definitely my favorite. I got a chance to try out these in store the other day, and while the improvements are pretty subtle compared to the last year's Furon V7, hence the fact that they're not even really giving it a new model name, they're just adding that plus on the end, I did notice a difference in the material quality. I thought that the upper was just a little bit softer with this new Hypo Knit, and so I do think they made a few measurable improvements, but also just in my opinion, the aesthetic of this boot is much improved as well. So that's going to come in at around $215. You should be able to get 10% off if you check out the links below. And then I also had to include my personal favorite from the New Balance line, and that's going to be the Tekalo V4 Pro Low Edition, and this is also the new Plus model that just came out. And similar to the Furon V7 Plus, I got a chance to try these out just yesterday, and they did make some changes. It feels different from the original Tekalo V4 Pro Low Edition, especially the upper. If you see the toe box area here has that woven mesh pattern, it has a really nice like tactile sensation to it. It's not quite as matte as the previous V4 Low Edition. And also I think the new colorways with this model are great. They have this blue version, and then similar to the Furon, they have a white variation and a blackout variation. But yeah, this is still easily one of my favorite models that New Balance has to offer. I'm really excited to do a full review of this boot very soon because the original Tekalo V4 Low Edition was probably one of the best boots in my opinion of 2023. And so I think this is just going to be a continuation of that success that New Balance has been having recently. Check out all the different colorways they have available, and this one, just like the Furon, is going to retail for $215. And then I had to include it just because these new models came out. The existing model of the Tekalo V4 Pro Low Edition, since these new Plus models just came out, as is the trend with football boot releases, the previous model always usually gets a pretty substantial discount. So you can pick up this, it's kind of like a copper gold variation here. I think it's one of my preferred colorways. In most sizes, it looks like it's available here, 6.5 through 9 and size 10. But that's discounted at least $60, it looks like here. So you can pick that up for just under $170, which in my opinion is a really good deal because this is, I mean, one of the highest end football boots I tried on last year. I got mine in the white colorway, which I think was a Tim Way exclusive. It was white with the blue and red accents. Such a beautiful football boot. But yeah, similar to with the Furon V7 as well, if you can find some of those original variations on sale now that the new models have come out, these are great boots to pick up. Any of the high-end New Balance models, honestly, full price, they're still a pretty good deal, but when they're discounted, that's just the best time to pick them up. And while the V4 Plus has a few improvements, and I'm really excited to review it, the V4 Pro is going to be, I'd say, 95% the same football boot. Great model though, definitely recommend it. And then next up, we're transitioning over to a Mizuno model, and that's going to be the Alpha Elite. So this is one of the speed boots that I got to try on last year. And Mizuno, especially with their higher end offerings, they pretty much never miss. They make absolutely amazing football boots. And compared to the competition, they're usually pretty affordable as well, specifically their Elite models. The Made in Japan models are pretty pricey. Most of the Made in Japan Morelias and Alphas are going to be $250 to $300. But if you pick up the Elite versions of these boots, they're usually under $200. And this Alpha Elite specifically typically retails for $199, and you can pick it up here for just under $160. It's a great speed boot. It's going to compete in the same class as the X Crazy Fast 0.1 and the Vapor 15 from Nike. And it's easily can go toe-to-toe with both of those models. It's going to have a razor-thin, barefoot-like touch on the ball. Super sticky inside of the boot as well. Like, your foot is not slipping at all. If you see this heel liner area, it's really, really grippy. It feels pretty premium on feet and it delivers pretty much everything you would want from a high-end speed boot, but it just doesn't cost, $270. In my experience, having seen both the Made in Japan and the Elite versions, people tell me that there's small differences. I can hardly tell the difference in either design or fit and feel. So any of the Elite Mizuno models, absolutely great picks to go for. Then next up, we have another absolute favorite of mine, and that's going to be the Nike Tiempo Legend 10 Pro, specifically the Pro model, because it's basically identical to the Elite variation. It's one of the best takedowns that Nike has to offer. I'm a little bit upset that I didn't get this colorway specifically, because I picked these up before this colorway was released. I got them in the white and red colorway, but this turquoise pack is absolutely sick. I think these Tiempos look amazing. They're a great football boot, and they're also pretty decent for use on a variety of playing surfaces. They're going to have almost all conical studs in the forefoot, and then just some bladed studs towards the heel. They're really comfortable boots, in my opinion, and I think objectively, they're probably the widest football boot that Nike offers. So I find them slightly more accommodating than the Vapor 15 and the Phantom GX2. And despite the fact that this model is no longer made with kangaroo leather, I think they did a pretty good job executing on this synthetic. It still has a somewhat leather-like touch to it, and I'm still going to pick up the next pair of Tiempos when they release it as well. I don't think that them not using leather is the end of the Tiempo series like some people were saying. And if you are someone that was saying that, I would encourage you giving them a try. If you are someone who is a big fan of the Tiempos but were disappointed that they discontinued the leather, they're really comfortable boots. I love the elasticated knit inner liner that runs straight down the tongue here. That wasn't present in previous Tiempo models. They didn't really have that elasticated collar that gave you a really snug fit around the ankle, and I think was a great addition here. And I think the full retail price was even above $150 when it was first released. I think it was closer to $160, but now on sale you can get this for $120 or less. Absolutely amazing deal. That's cheaper than I picked these up for when I got them about 6 months ago. Most sizes available as well. Tiempo Legend 10 Pro, great boot, and I wouldn't waste your money on the Elite model. That's just my opinion. They're very good, but the Pros are going to be half the price, and in my opinion, just as good. And then speaking of boots that are, half the price of the premium version, but just as good, we have the new Puma Future 7 Pro. I just got these boots in today for review, so I'm really excited to make a full video on these. Already tried them on, and I can tell you that they are supremely comfortable. I was a huge fan of the previous Puma Future Pro, and there was just a few slight tweaks that they made with this new model, but you're still going to get that full sock-like fit, one-piece upper. Easily one of the best, I think, one-piece knit materials that there is on the market. Really gives you that sock-like sensation. And the Future series is definitely, I think, the best boot that Puma offers, and it has been for at least the past 2 years. So that's just my opinion. If you're going to go the Puma route, the Future is amazing, and the Future 7 Ultimate is going to retail for a little over $200, but you can get the Future 7 Pro for $140 right now. It'll probably be decreased in the coming weeks, and if the previous Puma Futures are any indication, the Pro version is going to be very similar to that Elite model. It's a great boot. Puma does a great job executing on this design, and this new colorway is nice too, especially if you're a fan of lighter football boots like I am. So moving on, we have the previous generation Puma Future. Now this is actually the premium Future Ultimate, and I just wanted to bring it up here because Puma, more so than almost any other brand, gets discounted so much after, 8 to 10 months and past a year from their original release. They get so heavily discounted, much more than Nike boots and more than Adidas boots. So while the original Future Ultimate retailed for $220, you can get this for $130. I mean, that's pretty insane. It's a top of the line boot that you can get for this basically less than some takedown models. Like, this costs less than a takedown Vapor 15 Pro. So if you ask me, that's like an insane deal. Because at this price, I would probably just get the premium version instead of the Pro version, because you're only paying like $10 to $20 more. This is another one of my favorite boots from last year. As I said, I think they only made relatively minor tweaks when going from this model to the new Future 7. They also have a few different colorways. I tried on this variation, and there's a purple variation as well. So hopefully you can find a colorway that's gonna suit you best. But I think it's a pretty nice design. It's a pretty flashy football boot, more flashy than I would normally wear. But as I said, I think it's the best series that Puma is creating right now. So next on the list, we have an Adidas model, and we're going back pretty far here. This is the Copa Pure Plus, not the Copa Pure 2, which came out a few months ago. But as is the trend with releases, this model got heavily discounted when the Copa Pure 2 was released. But it is so similar to that the laceless Copa Pure 2. You're gonna have that. It's kind of a hybrid upper between both calf leather and synthetic. It's going to be a very snug fitting leather football boot. So I will make that warning first. It's pretty narrow compared to most other leather boots on the market. So if you're someone who wants a leather boot that fits very open, wide, has that traditional fit to it, you're not going to get that with the Copa Pure. However, it is going to deliver a really snug, almost sock-like fit that you don't get from other leather boots. So it's pretty unique in that regard. And if that's something that you're looking for, the Copa Pure Plus is definitely the way to go. And I mean, I'd say pretty much identical to the Copa Pure 2 Plus. I think the 2 Plus has a slightly longer prime knit collar that extends down the midfoot here, so it's going to have a slightly adjusted fit. But this is a great football boot. I personally usually like my leather boots a little bit wider, but as far as laceless leather boots, this is it. It's the only one that exists on the market. So it's definitely really novel, and $150 is a very fair price considering the original release price of $280. So you're looking at close to half the price there. Also, you get a really aggressive sole plate in that torsion frame, which I am a fan of as well. The next up, we have another Adidas model. We're talking the Predator Accuracy 0.1. Now this one, I think it's going pretty fast because you can see how many sizes are already taken. I think there may be some other colorways you can check out as well. But with the release of the Predator Elite, a lot of these companies, they're trying to get rid of their inventory and sell off, the previous models as they get these new ones in. And this could be a hot take, but I think that the fit and feel of the Accuracy, in my opinion, might be slightly better than the fit and feel of the new Predator Elite. Now that's hard for me to say because I think the aesthetic of the Predator Elite is actually better than the accuracy. I think it's a better looking boot. It just looks so much more sleek and retro. I love the design. I love the look of the open V-shaped lacing system. But the accuracy 0.1, for me, I think the hybrid touch that you get on the accuracy 0.1 is actually a little bit thinner and a little bit softer compared to the hybrid touch that you get on the new Predator Elite. And I actually do like the elasticated collar that you have running through the midfoot on the accuracy. Generally, I'm a fan of traditional lacing systems, but I think that the one-piece upper that was in the accuracy was really well executed. Probably, like, when this was released, it was one of the best Predators that came out in like 5 years. So it's important to keep that in mind too. Bunch of colorways that are currently still available. I think in about a month or two, it's going to be really hard to find these. So if you're interested and you can find any in your size, this could be a good time to pick them up. And then finally, with the last boot on our list here, we have probably my personal pick for like best boot under $80 last year, and that would be the Nike Vapor 15 Academy. I had pretty low expectations when I first got this boot to try on, because usually like a third tier takedown for a speed boot, you're not going to have high hopes for that boot fitting well, being fun to play in, all of the above. But I wanted to try these on because I know for a fact that this is one of the most sold Nike boots in their entire product line. Because the truth is, most people aren't going to go out and spend $260 on a pair of boots. Even players that are very, very serious, like I played like very serious ball for the past 2 years, and some of the best kids on my team would roll up with like $80, $60 boots, things that they got off the clearance aisle, barely fit them. So it's really like, it's important to remember that a lot of these affordable boots, that's where most of the market is. So I was really impressed when I tried these on, and they fit really, really well. I was shocked, and they're also very fun to play in. I got these in the white and red variation. This is the turquoise model that they have here, and they actually still have most of the sizes available here. They have my one left in the size I usually get, 10.5. But you're not going to get, the fly knit collar running down the midfoot or around the ankle. You're not going to have the air zoom unit running throughout the entire 3/4 length of the sole plate, but you're going to have a really thin upper, a surprisingly comfortable fit, especially in the toe box, where I thought these were actually kind of like, I would say impressively wide, just because I thought they were going to be really narrow. And yeah, they were a great pair of boots. And for $72, I think they're an amazing deal. And if you're interested in getting like that Vapor 15 experience, but you just don't have the budget for the more expensive model, there's no shame in getting a pair of these boots. They're definitely going to serve you really well. And that is going to do it for this video. And if you are interested in videos like this, where I go over football boots that I think are currently good deals in the market, just let me know and I can make more of that kind of content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.